So here I have your expenses list. The list here is very small, but then I see things around this room. Out of 10 purchases, how many times do you regret it?
Probably 6. Hi guys, I am Aishwarya. Currently I head the marketing team for a red tech company here in Bangalore. Just because I'm so passionate about sports, I also have my own cricket academy. I'm a shopaholic and I spend a lot of money in sneakers, hoodies and gadgets. So while I make a decent amount of money, I also spend a lot of money. So that's why to fix my finance, I invited Ayushman.
It's Anshuman.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Fix Your Finance powered by Cred. Today I've got Aishwarya with me, a very interesting woman who runs her own business and at the same time doing a full-time job. Right now there's a lot of chatter happening around moonlighting, which is basically you having a second job apart from your full-time thing. Here you have a full-time job and you also have a profitable business. So how do you manage this, and is your company cool with it?
My company actually didn't know that I was doing it actually when they hired me. So in a candid conversation that I was having with the co-founder, I randomly said and he was like pretty cool with it.
Okay.
Like he just asked me, do you spend a lot of time over there? I told probably 1 hour a month.
How much are you making from your business and how much are you making from your full-time job?
I think I make around 60 to 90k a month from my business.
Moving on to your job, firstly, when did you join this company?
4 months back.
4 months back. And how much are you earning right now?
I get around 1 lakh a month.
1 lakh a month. This is in hand.
Yeah.
Okay. So collectively, Aishwarya's earnings from her business and her full-time job is between 1.6 to 1.9 lakhs. Also, one more thing, because it's a business, her profit first comes into her hand and then during her tax filing, you have to pay the taxes. So at the age of 21, I just joined my full-time job and I used to make anywhere between 30 and in a good month 40,000 rupees max. Here you are making 1.6 lakhs on an average. So this is something which is very aspirational. So I'm very curious how you spend this money. So here I have your expenses list. The list here is very small, but then I see things around this room and everything is pretty expensive. So the Excel sheet does not do enough justice to your expenses, but we'll still start. First is rent. Rent is just 12,500 rupees a month, which is pretty decent. It's less than 10% of what you are earning. Then there is an EMI of 35,000 rupees. What is this loan?
This goes for my academy, that the loan that we took. I think probably 30 goes for my academy and rest 5 for the stupid iPad that I bought.
Was it a personal loan or was it a 6-9 months ka EMI? EMI. No cost EMI?
Yes.
Okay. Then there is electricity and fuel, 1,000 rupees. 1,000 rupees a month. So is this a remote job?
No, it's basically here, so it kind of like hybrid sort of a thing.
How do you spend your weekends?
So basically I just got shifted here, so I invite a lot of my friends. They come from Chennai. So we used to hang out here and there, explore new places, new restaurants and everything.
Okay, so here I can see that the going out expenses 15,000 rupees a month. What about your food? How do you manage your food?
It's like 50-50. I cook 50% of my time and we order around 50% of it.
Okay, so what is that expenditure?
I think probably it would be around 6k for ordering out. Maybe 3k sort of a thing for.
So around 10,000 in food. Okay. What about other expenses? As I can see that you like shopping.
Yeah.
So how much do you spend on an average?
So that's when I kind of save a lot of money if I want to buy something. So if I want to buy a Jordans probably 6 months down the line, I made sure that I save some amount of money. So whatever money that I have left over at the end of the month, I save it up and make sure that this keeps coming so that I can buy at the end of the day whatever I want.
Okay, but how much is that amount on an average in a month?
I think it varies from 5k to 15k.
Because here, just by looking at the products in this room, I think you have spent upwards of around 4L. Since how long are you earning more than 1.5 lakhs?
I think probably 1.5 years.
1.5 years. Okay, so 1.5 years, 5 lakhs. Okay, so around anywhere between 20 if we do the math, that it's around 25,000 every month on discretionary spending, just things that you like, but still there is a lot of room for improvement here, because if you have a good laptop, if you have the best phone, then you probably don't need that iPad. Any other major expense that you can think of?
I send almost like 40,000 every month to my parents. 6 months back, I was basically in Chennai. My dad used to work in Karur. Basically, it's like sort of a village sort of a thing in Tamil Nadu. And I took my mom along because my dad thought a girl shouldn't be alone in a city and it's not safe and things. So he sent my mom down to help me out with things. But because of that, my dad took a lot of pressure on himself, managing a house and also work. And I think he basically was not able to manage it alone. And somehow he had a heart attack back then. So I think that's when all of my investments and savings that I had went into zero, all negative. And I also took a couple of loans from my friends and the company I was working with. I think that was like the downfall period that I had.
So currently you have a business and you are also responsible for your parents' financial needs. So do you have an emergency fund at this point?
Right now I have about 4 months of emergency fund which is with my mom basically. I send her every month so that I don't touch it.
Yeah, perfect. Guys, the awareness of emergency fund has increased a lot in the last 4-5 years, and a lot of people ask me where to park our emergency fund. Whenever you are confused, just keep these two things in mind. Number one, the money should be as liquid as possible. Ideally, it should not take 4-5 days for that money to come into your bank account. And second, it should be very safe. ऐसा नहीं कि 6 महीने के बाद आपकी emergency fund की value कुछ 50% से गिर जाए. In her case, she has kept it with her mom because she's like, if I keep it in my mutual fund account or bank account or my wallet, then I might end up spending it on things which I don't need. So returns कम है, but at least पैसे तो बच रहे हैं. So that's very important. So you're earning a lot of money and your expenses are also a little high. Do you invest every month?
Yes. So I invest about 25 to 30k a month. So
where is it going?
So 25 goes into 3 different mutual funds and 1 ELSS for my tax saving purpose. And I also invest 5,000 rupees every month in NPS.
Acha. In any normal setting, at the age of 21, if someone's investing 30,000 rupees, that's a very big deal. But in your case, even in the worst case scenario, you are making 1.6 lakhs a month. So 30,000 for you, I think is in the lower territory. It's less than 20% of your total income, and every 5,000, 10,000 rupees extra that you can start investing right now will have a very big impact. Like for example, let's say you plan to get married by the age of 30. That additional 10,000, 5,000 rupees probably can fund a very big portion of your entire wedding. If someone close to you gives you an option to choose between 20 lakhs that you will invest for the next 10 years or 25 lakhs that you have to spend all in the next 1 year, you can't invest anything, what would you choose?
Obviously spending money.
Shopping, travel, food. If you had an unlimited budget for one of these, what would you choose?
Shopping.
Okay. I really want to know this one. Which is the last big purchase that you regret?
So I think last month I bought an iPad. Okay. I actually planned to go buy an iPod, but I ended up buying iPod and iPad.
Oh my god. Okay. You are one passionate person. If money was out of consideration, what would you do for a living?
Play cricket.
Play cricket?
Yeah. So a lot of my friends and my colleagues in the office told me that I should have a credit card so that I have some sort of a credit score build up. So probably down the line, if you want to take up some loans, I would probably qualify for it.
So what is the dilemma?
So right now I get a feel like if I get a credit card, probably I might spend a lot more in things that I don't need right now. So should I get it or should I not is something I'm ready.
A credit card is a double-edged sword. There are a lot of things that can go wrong. It's very easy to overspend on a credit card because you get 45 days before you have to pay. So you can always convince us, okay, after 40 days I'll have excess cash, I'll easily be able to pay. That's one thing. Second, if you fall in the trap of just paying the minimum balance, so every credit card has an option to either pay the entire bill or pay a small portion, a minimum bill. So for a 10,000 rupee bill, that might be around 700 or 800 rupees. The problem here is, for the rest of the amount, they will start charging an interest rate. And the interest rate today, credit card companies in India currently charge around an annualized rate of 30 to 40%, if I'm not wrong. That can really add up. That can really add up, you know. And third, there are penalties. If you miss out on your credit card payments, then the penalties and the fees might be very high. So these are a few disadvantages, but at the same time, there are a lot of good things. Like for example, you're a business owner, so you might be servicing a lot of clients where, you know, you have to go meet them, you know, you have to go for meetings where you have to spend on air and accommodation, and later they will get it reimbursed. So in this case, something like a credit card is sorted, because you get a 45 days free interest where you spend on all this, and later when the client reimburses that amount, you get the money back. So nothing is going from your bank account. So this is one. Interest-free credit is really good. Credit cards have different types of offers in all categories: fashion, travel, food, everything. So, you know, I use Cred, and in Cred there's a feature where you can see what all offers are available for your credit card. So you like your shopping, you can see that, okay, at this point, if I plan to buy these things, I might get a 5% discount for this.
Yeah, so I think one issue that I'm having right now is like I kind of fallen prey to a lot of impulse buying. So how can I escape from that?
It's a very normal problem. It's something which I also face, but there are a few things. Firstly, just go down to the core, download the last 3 months ka bank statement, and calculate how much are you spending on these amount. Okay, first. Second, do you like these expenses? Do you like spending on these things?
I think I regret it after probably 2 or 3 months down the line.
Out of 10 purchases, how many times do you regret it?
Probably 6.
Oh, 6 times.
Yeah.
Okay, so for that, one thing that I personally do is, if you see something on the internet or in the nearby shop, okay, and you like it, at that point the urge might be very strong, but ideally wait for a week, go back to that site or that shop, and if the urge is still as strong, then only go ahead and buy that thing. That's the thing. Third thing, which is very important, is create a budget for impulse purchases. Like, let's say 2% of my month, 2% of my total income, or 5% of my total income is something that I will only spend on things that I'm buying just for fun. So yeah, have an objective, be mindful, and then open your app. Alright guys, that was all for today. Thank you Aishwarya for doing it. And if you want to be a part of this series, the link is in description. You know what to do. See you guys.